Hi, my name is Trey Smith, and today I'm talking about predictive programming in the fourth dimension. Stand for the things you know are right. Surrey on down to the Stone Soul Picnic. Surrey down. Today's song is by a band called the Fifth Dimension. Surrey down to the Stone Soul Picnic. Surrey down. Surrey on down to the Stone Soul Picnic. Surrey down. Surrey. Surrey. Surrey down to the Stone Soul Picnic. Surrey down. Surrey on down to the Stone Soul Picnic. Surrey down. Gotta get the sun back in the face. Alright. So, the idea for this video came because some of you guys are in kindergarten, first and second grade when it comes to conscious awareness. So I have to explain my idea of what the fourth dimension is before we can really conceive of the fifth dimension, which sometimes can be easier to perceive than the fourth, because it's the realm of the heart, where everything is aware of the heart of the Christ. But the fourth dimension, my guess or my belief is that it represents the long view. In other words, the fourth dimension is your whole entire life. If you looked at some psychics say if you got far enough away from the earth, you could see all your lifetimes. That's the fourth dimension. Supposedly linear, but yet, of course, the point of power is in the now. So, but if you are a 3D slave, if you only do what you're told, and if you think the point of life is to put food on the table and pay the rent, you have the 3D slave a level of awareness. The great tragedy is that you could not improve your soul or not expand your awareness, not become yourself more, not learn anything, not learn your lesson or any lessons even. And, being financially dependent, it could make people appear to be stuck in the second dimension even, or the third. And, but the slaves definitely can seem to be stuck in the third dimension. And so, through the reptilians, long term, as I've said, institutional insertions and control, which I also wonder about them, because some psychics have said they can be in the 11th dimension or the 7th dimension, I would think, because they possess telepathy, right? But they don't have heart. So they basically, I'm guessing they are only in the first, second, third, perhaps 7th and 11th dimension, but not the 5th and 6th dimension. So they can't perceive the heart, in other words. But the fourth, I don't know if they can move forward in the fourth. The 4D is basically like the big picture, your whole life. The blueprint, as I've said in other videos, if you activated your blueprint or what you came here to do, the long view, this shamanic view of your whole life. As I said, you can do the recapitulation process. It's intense. Or even soul retrieval if you need that. And it's the blueprint of your whole life. Your life path, as they call it, your marriage, your long-term jobs, careers, your habits, your drug addictions, plants, medicines you take, or whatever, like coffee, whatever you have a relationship with your whole lifetime could be a karmic factor in your fourth dimensional body or your fourth dimensional experience. Your what your soul goes through. In other words, or your family. Your partners and best friends. And this is why there are not more West Coast Ascension teachers, because there's so much targeting, so much hologramic, so much. There's the Hadron Collider. There's all the black magic rituals. Bohemian Grove, right here in Santa Cruz. There's a lot of people disappear, a lot of blood drinking. And they also targeting in the cannabis. Gangsters moving to Humboldt. They have the organic law, but yet they have their insane property tax there too, all along the coast, or the entire state, or most of it. And so the communities in the West Coast are often filled with ego, sexual issues, financial separation, having the high rent and taxes keeps many in split personalities, even if they're half enlightened or aware or conscious. Keeps the Zetas able to manipulate most of them, sadly, tragically, because they're beaming their bullshit at them, and they're already stressing about that high tax. So the zodiac signs of California: Virgo, Scorpio, Moon, Sagittarius rising. It reeks of that tendency to get stuck in the fourth, because you didn't realize how manipulative these trickster inverted tricksters from the dark side were, and how they were going to separate everything so well, man. With this, what is predictive programming is, this is when they know what your habits are, right? They know what you're going to do. So through survival mode, when you're caught in survival mode, or even, in any gear, financial survival mode, the history of your habits, they know the evil, the dark side, the evil aliens, they know all your habits. So it's they don't like necessarily monitor everyone everywhere, maybe, but they find it easy to manipulate people in this part of the world. In California, through many different types of mind control, they know through survival, history of habits, habitually stuck in a rut of history, stuck in Cali, you become lost in a Zeta moon, blood, ritual, and fused maze of psychedelic bliss and ritualized blood sacrifice, trauma, wound scraping. Okay? It's not really that fun in the fourth dimension, or the second bardo is another word for it. This is also known as the astral plane, or where ghosts are, where spirits get trapped. Because again, these are people that didn't go a ghost or a trapped spirit, and somebody who didn't know the fifth dimension, the oneness. They didn't know the Christ. They didn't know that they didn't know anything but ego, or what the Satanist or the Illuminati or Luciferian or the tweaker or the homeless who doesn't have any respect or belief in their own divinity. They don't understand that the soul not only has choice, but can influence, say, if it goes to a better place when it leaves. So not only that, but they have this idiotic belief that there is no afterlife. Okay, that's one of the stupidest ideas ever. So when they die, they're just stuck in Santa Cruz. There's fucking hundreds of them here, and so if my frequency goes down, if this is why cannabis really helps a lot of us, as Lee Scratch Perry said, it keeps your frequency high. It protects you from the duppies, because it raises your frequency. There's probably a lot of ghosts in Kingston too, of course, and a lot of blood clot shots going on there. So it keeps your frequency higher from that, right? So, whereas if you don't know how to meditate or use ganja properly, you can easily know the difference between your thoughts and the Zeta and idiot thoughts, and or a ghost or dead person's thoughts. It can easily harm you, if you're empath. And so So a lot of people who are sensitive, they think they got it under control. They, people around here, they go, "Oh, I'm just," or they're so stoned or high on some good cannabis that they believe they're self-confident and they believe they're laid back when they're really anxious, when they're really susceptible to these critter entities, and the astral parasites, and they, through their ego, they think that they're so strong they don't get influence. But of course, I'll admit when I do, I'll tell people, look, that was an idiot spirit trying to harm me right there, Um, so the answer is to know what predictive programming is and not allow that to influence you, to let them harm you, and learn to discern, write and live your blueprint. Gurdjieff had this idea that if you have a mission or a dream or blueprint in your life, something you want to do, give it 7 years. Do your best for 7 years to try to an occupation, and if you can figure out what your mission is in this life, if it's not going to hurt anyone else, go for it. But just know that, if you drink coffee or you smoke weed or you drink alcohol or you have any kind of habits or addiction to people or, financial vampirism, any kind of addictions, codependency, narcissistic NPEs, if you're addicted to watching TV and letting the dark side titillate you with watching others suffer, and you still think it's cute, and you don't realize it's pathetic to think that's cute, for example, like TV addiction, all those things can really, really harm you with predictive programming, because they go in and they just, it makes you easy to manipulate. When you watch mainstream media, they find you an easy toy, basically, or an easy source of astral illusion. They'll just drink your emotions. When you, as Castaneda said, Howdy Machowski pointed this out, and I remembered it when he said that the Flyers. He called them the Flyers. They gave us their mind, and this is one of the hardest things for humans to realize, is that the ascension, awakening to the Christ, going into the fifth dimension, is not so much about you have to do all this stuff to be enlightened and meditate a long time and eat really pure. And sure, those things help, and they're gonna, in some ways. I mean, for me, eating 100% organic most of the time, if I can, ITAL or non-GMO organic all the time, and I know what I'm eating, no chemicals. Very important. Pure oxygen, very important. Um, However, if I cannot change my habits, if I am manipulated through my habits and the mind control through predictive programming, it's like, well, I'm actually recording this video directly underneath this log. I mean, this tree trunk that I'm fairly sure they beamed a weapon on it to make it try to fall, smash on my tent and kill me. So again, this is how. As I've said in other videos, the dark side, most of the time, I mean, their tragedy, their demise, and they shoot themselves in the foot in every step, as Tyler's of Journey to the Truth podcast said, but because of their arrogance, but also they're just predictable in general, because they want conquest, takeover, slavery, kill you or make you their slave, make you wage slave. It's all obvious, but if you start to obey the programs, or if you have been already and you don't stop, then they can really manipulate you with predictive programming. That's what that word means. And so, learning how to actually see your life in the fourth dimension is a huge, helpful healing tool. And I want to give thanks to YouTube for helping me in that, because, I was learning a lot. I was playing music. I busked. I tried to help people as a spiritual advisor. But shadow banned or not, I mean, I have a few people watching, and I didn't have really any kind of community in 3D or fleshy suit reality here in Santa Cruz, California. And so I'm really thankful The YouTube has helped me to get a little healthier with my fourth dimensional body, to see where my soul is going, to be in service to the one. Many blessings and one love, my family, and create a great day if you have the courage. And if you haven't already, click subscribe, click the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and make it a beautiful day, my family.